Welcome back, everyone, to the MMA Vivisection. If you've just been watching our UFC Fresno one with me and Connor, I am turning right around to talk about this Invicta FC 26 card. And to do that, I'm joined this week by my consistent Invicta co-hosts, Victor Rodriguez and Damon Okoro, Dio, as I call him, as he kind of goes. But I never know if it's D-E-O. Am I supposed to spell it out, or do I just
I say D-E-O, but like you have all these other folks who are like, is it Dale? I'm like, God damn. Where did y'all learn phonetics? I don't know what's going on.
Fine, I'll
really
go
isn't that fucking hard
to please you. And so we're here to talk about an Invicta FC 26 card that is pretty much a standard Invicta card. Like it's actually a little more veteran heavy, other than probably the absolute bottom, which is just totally unknown and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also really only kind of contains one really notable fighter that people are going to show up for.
Yeah.
And that being Mackenzie Dern in the co-main event.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Vic, what are your thoughts on this Invicta card?
I mean, personally, I love it. There's more than the fact that it's a little more veteran heavy. It's definitely very action heavy. A lot of the matchups here are very much, good striker versus striker bouts. Some fighters are a little more well-rounded or facing off against each other. So, no card is perfect. This one has some bits that are a little, I guess, weird, but everything pairs up well, and it seems like it promises to deliver. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yep.
All right, I'll take that as your comments.
No, sadly, Mizuki Inoue had to.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the specifics of as to why she dropped out, but it's always a sad day when we don't get to see probably one of the best strikers in women's MMA. So
yeah,
that would have been a nice secondary bump to give like a really good fan reason to watch this card. And
yep.
Yeah. But we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the bottom and a strawweight bout. Kay Hansen versus, there you go. He's got it. Kay Hansen versus Emily Prince. And there's not much, I know there's not much to know about this. There's not much footage, I believe, on Kay Hansen at all. So they're both 0-0. I don't even know what. See, Hansen has one amateur bout,
and Prince has like 2-3.
2-3. So I don't need. We're basically just gonna skip this, but make something up if you think you got any idea who you're picking to win.
I'm going with Hansen because I've been watching a lot of professional wrestling lately, and Stan Hansen is the man.
All right, that's as good a reason as I need.
She'll win by Western Lariat.
As far as I can tell, Hansen has done some training with Tito Ortiz and them, and she had an amateur fight in Orange County, but there's no real footage that I can find. I can't really honestly pick her. I did see Prince, do some kick-heavy work there. She's had more fights, so maybe that'll translate to something here. And also, one thing to remember is that Hansen is only 18 years old. Not sure how much training and practice she might have under her belt. So I'm going to have to go on the coin flip here, go with Prince.
She is in her Capology profile. She is holding some kind of medal of some sort.
So she's won something before.
No idea what. I should note before we get too much further into this, there have not been any Invicta odds released yet. So we're not going to be doing odds today. Sucks, but it is what it is. Just not much you can do about that. Unfortunately, odds will probably come out the moment the show is over. So
yeah, and of course, since the weigh-ins haven't happened yet, there's still a good chance that some people may drop out of bouts, or that these bouts may end up being catchweights because
it's true.
So
you can't have an Invicta card without needing without some people missing weight. So
it is what it is.
That brings us to a flyweight bout next. Maia versus Karina Rodriguez. And Vic, if you or your spawn would like to talk our way through it, go for it. No?
Where's he at? What?
Vic?
Vic.
Give the pick?
Vic, you dead, man?
Okay. I don't know if maybe his headphones came out. So
I think his headphones came out.
all right, Vic,
Can you hear us?
You go after it. And
Whatever.
I'll try and get a hold of Vic.
Okay, so I am going with this one. I believe Karina Rodriguez trains with Irene Aldana and Alexa Grasso, if I remember correctly, just from seeing footage and so on and so forth. And she did fight on. It was not the last Invicta, but the Invicta 24, and she actually looked pretty good against Barbara Ascioli. Christina Faria, we've seen her before. It's all stand up all the time. She's been making a lot of noise lately, talking about who gets title shots and people's aesthetics and stuff like that. So she is getting to be a bigger personality. But as far as just straight up action and who I'm gonna go with on this fight, I'm leaning towards Karina Rodriguez, more so out of experience than anything else, and she does look to be far more well-rounded than Faria. What is he holding up there?
He's got a phone he's holding up. I don't know. Can you?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, there you go. He had to do it a different way, I guess.
Okay.
I had to. Yeah, my computer decided to take a smoke break at this point. I don't even know.
Well, the weird thing is, though, is that
he's still there.
I can see you on your computer. What we see in the call is you holding a phone up in front of your computer. Yeah.
We've got Victor in stereo. Amazing.
Wow, I can see it too. Wow, double the Victor, ain't that something?
So I've got your other channel muted because you weren't hearing us, and so we were talking at you, and you were just sitting there playing with your kid.
Yeah, I could make a joke about the double the Victor, but I'm not going to be me.
You shouldn't. Look, Daddy's a fat fuck. Look. See?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm calling CPS.
All right.
Vic, you think you can get a handle on this Christine Faria versus Karina Rodriguez fight real quick?
I can't. Hush. All right. So Faria is a very underrated striker and actually also a very underrated athlete. Yes, exactly. The thing is that Karina's not really big on takedowns, so I think this is going to be more than anything a striking showdown between the two. That being the case, Faria hits really, really hard, and she's a lot more accurate. She's got better finishing instinct, although Karina does have a bit more control with her range. So I'm going to go with Faria on this one. It's not going to be easy. But unless she starts working body attacks or something like that, Karina's going to be in a lot of trouble real quick once Faria starts swarming her.
All right. So I'm sorry, Dane. I forgot who did you pick Faria as well? I got distracted by Vic's whole thing here.
I'm picking the other Rodriguez.
Okay.
And not Vic's kid. So yeah.
All right. So you're picking Karina Rodriguez, you're picking Christine Faria, Vic's picking Christine Faria, and we don't have odds, like I said. So we'll move right along. Amber Brown, Tessa Simpson, Adam Waite bout. And Vic, can I ask you to lead this one off, or are you?
I think you can, yeah. So anyway, look at that.
Okay.
Okay. God damn, this is the most clown shoes and amazing sport ever. And that's the best thing. I'm doubling up again. You like that? The camera's back on. Yay. All right.
Yeah. Hold the phone real close to your face because we can't barely hear you.
Wow. Okay. How about now? Is that better?
No, I don't know. Maybe it's going through your mic still. Whatever's going on.
How's this?
We're barely hearing you.
No, nothing.
I got you. I can hear you. But it's just lower than it was had you been on.
You know what? I'll just turn your volume up. Don't change a thing. Don't touch anything.
I have nothing to adjust right now.
Just keep talking, and I've turned your volume up.
Okay, that works. There we go.
Okay, so no, not you, goddammit. Hang on, let me put him down. Hey, come here. Hey, thank you.
Christ. We don't get paid enough for this shit. I don't get paid at all. God damn it.
Damn breeders. Let me tell you.
Fucking hell. Come here. Ah. There we go. You good? Oh. Good? All right. What the fuck were we talking about? We're all right. Yeah. Okay. So
Amber Brown, Tessa Simpson. Help me out here.
Brown, I got to go with Amber Brown on this one. She's got much tougher conditioning. She's got great wrestling. We saw that fight with Ayaka Hamasaki, how she was able to no more cookies. No, you know, not for you or me. The fact that she was able to keep up and use a lot of her chain grappling to stay competitive, that's going to give a lot of fits to Tessa Simpson, who, you know, despite being as good as she is, it's just not really going to work out. I just don't really see her being able to, even with her striking, be that much of a threat. So I got to go with Brown here.
All right. Damon, happily free of Spawn. Who are you picking?
Yes. I'm going with Amber Brown. Again, even though she is on a 3-fight losing streak, but like I think it was at least 2 of those, she, you know, did pretty well all the way until, you know, she got subbed. So she is just, like Vic said, with the whole chain grappling thing, she is too well-rounded in those areas, and she is just, for her size, she is just ridiculously strong. So I'm going to go with Brown on this one. Tessa Simpson's, you know, she's, I don't even know if we can still call her a prospect because she's been around since 2009. And, you know, but I just don't see her winning here. I haven't seen any tools from her in the 2 Invicta fights that we've seen her had that say, okay, I'm going to be able to handle someone like Amber Brown. She doesn't have the wrestling. She's got, you know, pretty good striking and things of that nature, but I just don't see it going her way this time.
All right. That brings us to a strawweight bout. Amy Montenegro versus Vima Jandiroba.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Like I'm gonna go with Montenegro on this one just because I've seen more from her, and it's the same thing that I've said umpteen times before when it comes to prospects that we see that come from Brazil, where they fought a bunch of local talent, but there's no real bar to say, you know, like there's no. It's like when you look at a picture and like when you see those hunting pictures where a guy has a hog that's like 15 feet in front of him and he's standing behind it. It's like, oh yeah, that looks huge. You know, the number looks huge, but there's nothing to really compare it to. You know, it's forced perspective with a lot of these things. Oh, this person's 11-0. This person is 20-0. And it's like, you really can't, there's no bar. And when it comes to like trying to find fights in Brazil, especially, like it's nigh impossible sometimes because they're just buried either so deep in YouTube in unfortunately that, you know, it's just hard to even find this stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to Jandiroba's credit, she has beat Lisa Ellis, but you know, that's also Ellis's 15-10 at this point. So
right, and has not won a match since 2012.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like right. and it that was bad, and like she was,
and that was only one. That's her only one win since 2010.
Right. Like that's yeah. You know. So.
All right. You picking the Brazilian newcomer, Vic?
I am actually, and you know, even though we've seen this happen a bunch of times in Invicta, where a fighter will come in with a series of wins off regional talent, and they take a risk on them. And, you know, you look at the opposition, and it's not always very strong. You know, we've harped on this plenty of times that people come in beating folks that have no business being in the cage, you know, 0-3, 0-5, you know, that kind of record. And they actually end up facing competent competition once they reach Invicta, and they do pretty well. And the thing that gets me about this is that Montenegro, she's been sharpening her tools on the grappling circuit. She's been really good at honing her jiu-jitsu and adapting it for MMA. But this is someone who's actually a few steps ahead of her when it comes to adapting their jiu-jitsu to MMA as well. She's got some accolades under her belt. And I think Verna's really going to be a major threat here. I think she's going to be able to impose her physicality on her, be able to take her down and start using that just crazy side control and start making those small adjustments. So I'm going to go with the newcomer here.
All right. That brings us to a flyweight bout. Vanessa Porto, Milana Dudieva, experienced veteran battle here in the flyweight division. And Vic, who you picking?
Not for nothing. Unfortunately, I can't really trust Dudieva here. Porto's a much more well-rounded fighter. She's able to take a few hits and keep on coming. I mean, that war that she had with Jennifer Maia, like, you know, it shows that there's a certain – her ceiling is higher than Dudieva's, put it that way. You know, I just don't really see when it comes to things like cardio, when it comes to, you know, intelligent striking, being able to weave in and out and ensuring that you're able to connect and not get hit as much, or at least weather that storm. Yeah, I got to go with Porto on this. You know, she's fought and beaten better people. She's lost to better people than Dudieva's beaten. So, you know, I know the MMA math is not the end-all, be-all for this sort of thing, but, yeah, got to go with Porto.
Dio?
Yeah, I got to go with Porto on this one too. Like, she's more well-rounded in every aspect of the game. And from what we've seen from Milana Dudieva, especially the past 3 fights, has not been good. You know, her last 2 fights in the UFC were dumpster fires. Let's just be real. The last person that she beat was Elizabeth Phillips, and Elizabeth Phillips isn't all that great. Just being real about things. And yeah, especially in, like, the other thing too, this is a, like, I can't really say a last minute thing, but like Jessica Rose Clark got signed by the UFC, and she was supposed to fight Vanessa Porto, which in my opinions would have been a far more, you know, even field type of a match. This here, not so much. I would even go as far as to say I wouldn't be surprised if Porto finishes there sometime in like the 2nd round, just because it's like it's a pretty lopsided, you know, when you look at the records, and like a lot of times people will look at like Vanessa Porto's record and be like, oh, she's lost 8 times. As we know, and as Vic said, MMA math doesn't work that way. But when you see who she's faced, who she's beaten, and who she's lost to, you know, she has the people that she's beaten. Dudieva hasn't even faced anybody even near that in her career at all. So got to go with Porto on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Dudieva is basically trying to make an MMA career out of only having a throw game. Like, that is really, like, the only thing she does is...
Head and arm. Head and arm.
You could hit judo throws because she's a good judoka. She can't really hit submissions. She can't punch people. She can't hold people down. She can't kick. She just hits those throws, and then they get right back up and start teeing off on her.
Right.
All right, that brings us to another strawweight bout. Kimberly, damn you, Brazil. Kimberly Novaes versus Janissa Morandin. And
that's close.
Damon, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm going with Janissa Morandin on this one. Just off of, because like I've said before, with a lot, like, of course you can go back and you can find some fights that we've seen online for some of these people, but with Morandin, just in her last fight alone, she's already faced better competition, far better competition in Livia Renata Souza. And you are, like, when you lose to somebody that's that good and you still do pretty decent in that, you learn a ton, especially if you've only been fighting, you know, local people before that. So I got to go with Morandin on this one. I could be wrong, but that's the thing. It's one of those, with a lot of the Brazilian fighters, it's an unknown quantity. So that's why I got to side with Morandin on this one. Plus, you know, Hannibal Buress is going to be backing her more than likely. So there's that.
Morandin she is coming out of one of the more notorious can-crushing Brazilian regional organizations in Aspera.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's a lot of 0-0 on that record.
Yeah. Oh, yes, there are. A lot of 0-0, a lot of 2-2, a lot of 4, a lot of even records, you know, 500 So
but that's always the thing with can crushers, though, is that you really just don't know when they get to a real fight. You know, it's like sometimes they're good. You can't automatically say that like they're going to be bad. It's just
it's true. Yes, it's not until once we've seen, you know, and the thing is, like, when you look at the records, that's the other thing. When you look at Kimberly Nevaeh's record, she has actually fought some pretty named people. Herrica Tiburcio, who was former atomweight champion, and so on and so forth. So, like, and Juliana Lima way back in the day.
Yuri Kondo last time out.
Right. So it's like she does have some, you know, some high level, but it's at this point it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Vic, who are you picking?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Verna a few minutes ago, right? Like someone who's coming up and who, again, you just take a gamble. Like, hey, they look like they've got some promise, some talent. They haven't been fighting the best opposition, but let's see what they can do. And Morandin she did that against Sousa. I mean, she didn't win, but you know, she showed that she can survive. She showed that she's got some skills. She's got a lot of polish in her game, but I'm definitely not going to hate on that. I gotta give her an advantage here, mostly due to the fact that, again, I don't think that Nevaeh is going to have too much that Morandin hasn't seen yet. And not only that, but the fact that Morandin doesn't, when you look at her fighting style, she's not bad, but shifting phases, you know, between one thing and the next. Okay, now we're kicking weight. Now we're punching. Like, there's clicks between these beats. And I don't know if she's able to start filling in those gaps or at least closing them, transitioning from one fin to the next, then she's definitely got a much better chance of winning this fight. I mean, she does have a good chance of winning either way, but I think the sure hand here is going to have to be Janaisa, and I'm going to go with that.
All right. That brings us to the co-main event, for the moment, strawweight bout, very likely going to be a catchweight by the time weigh-ins are finished, between Mackenzie Dern and Kayleen Medeiros. And Vic, who you picking?
Yeah. Okay. First off, yeah, the biggest, the most dramatic thing right now is waiting to see whether or not Dern makes weight.
Yep.
And I'm sorry to say it that way, but really, you know, unfortunately, she's proven that she's not very reliable with that. If she's able to do it, then that's one major hurdle that's been cleared. But also, what is she going to look like? How brutal was it? The fight itself, you're looking at someone in Medeiros who can take a lot of punishment, and Dern's striking hasn't looked very intimidating lately. I'm not saying that she can't hit hard. Maybe she's gotten some better fundamentals under her belt with her time over at the lab. She's got a really good crew there with her. She's got John Crouch, who I think is one of the most underrated coaches right now in the game. And do not put that in my ear. I swear to fucking
gross.
And it's a lollipop stick. I don't know. He's eating the other side, obviously. So anyway, her takedown game really largely relies on body locks, pulling guards, things of that sort. And Medeiros, you know, not the best record, but she doesn't fight.
Update: Mackenzie Dern made weight.
Oh shit!
115.9.
But how did she look? That's the key, though.
I don't know,
Barely.
but I know she made weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to see what that looks like in the end. But still, I mean, look, Medeiros has to be cognizant of the fact that most of the takedown game is going to be body locks, guard pulls, things of that sort, right? Dern's not going to really be too inclined to go for double legs or things of that nature. So she's going to know what's coming up. And then you got to wonder what Dern's striking defense is going to look like. Exactly, right? I know. So, and there you go. See? Even he's agreeing with me. Like, yeah, you know what? I think Medeiros is going to take it. And it's probably going to spoil Dern's little coming out party, but I'm going to have to go with the sure hand here, and that's going to be Medeiros.
All right. Dio?
Same thing. Like Vic said it pretty well. Like, it's with Dern. Like, Dern has, when you have somebody who is such a high name, like a large name coming from another combat sport like Dern, you know, you kind of expect that they would have had, you know, there would be more to back up the hype that comes behind it. And she has not had that hype. She's done decent against the people that she has come up against. Like when the first fight that I remember seeing her or second fight was against Montana De La Rosa, and it was like, you know, it was a dope submission, but it's like you should have gotten her out of there a long fucking time ago, especially with your accolades. Like you found somebody that was way too flexible and nothing that you did worked. But it's like there's only like it just hasn't looked amazing, you know? Like could she come back and surprise the shit out of all of us? Of course. You know, like she is still a great athlete, but the fundamentals as far as like striking and things like that go still aren't where they should be to be as highly touted as she is, you know? It kind of feels like very Rousey-ish in that she relies on one aspect of her game really, 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 really well. And then the other half is just kind of like, all right, I can just, you know, do a little razzle dazzle here and there. And that's about it. Just enough to get me to the takedown, as you said, to get to the ground. And that's where my wheelhouse is. And it's like, you can only do that for so long. And when you're going up against somebody like Kalina Medeiros, who has, you know, isn't great at one thing, but is good at a lot of things. Plus, as Vic said, you could hit her with a baseball bat and she's not going to go down. And if you don't have decent striking like that, she probably won't pick you apart, but still she's going to outland you more often than not. And if you can't get that takedown, which you usually use your striking to get to the takedown, it's going to be bad, you know? And I think she is going to rain on the parade. Like that hype train is going to get derailed. And that's how I feel right now about it. So
I would say, though, that Ronda Rousey would have run shop on Kalina Medeiros.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. Like her, you know, like as we know about Ronda Rousey, like her takedowns against people that are smaller than her. That's the key. People that are smaller than her, great. But once she actually ran up against someone that was bigger, was the same size or bigger than her, game over. Game over. The moment she couldn't get that
is not bigger than Mackenzie Dern, so there's that. But it'll be a good test of Dern's ability to just run a single-minded game.
Right.
That brings us to our main event: Jennifer Maia versus Agnieszka Niedzwiedz, or Aga Niedzwiedz.
I got what? It's too many vowels. There are too many vowels.
So the way I do it, and this is probably wrong, but is that you basically drop the Z's and the W's are V's. So
still too many vowels.
Agnieszka Niedzwiedz.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway, Dio, what you got?
Because this one's a tough one because Niedzwiedz, as you said, has looked pretty good. You know, she beat Vanessa Porto. Even in her fights prior to that, she beat Christine Stanley. She's beaten like good people. But Jennifer Maia is like, she is probably one of the best all-around fighters in women's MMA. And she is flown under the radar for just like so long. Because I know some people, like, they still have that stink of when she got knocked the fuck out by Sheila Gaff back in the day. And, you know, but since then, she's just gotten better and better and better. She did lose to Deanna Bennett. That was a back and forth, you know, even with Leslie Smith. Both these things were like back and forth. But since she lost to Deanna Bennett, she has just had nothing but really good looking, really good performances since then. So I'm going to stick with Jennifer Maia on this one. Her game is probably, it's not going to be the prettiest looking fight. You know, more than likely, the game plan is going to be to get Niedzwiedz against the cage and keep her there and just kind of dirty box and just keep it there the whole time. So, and the thing about it is she's really effective when it comes to doing that. So can't knock the hustle.
All right. Vic, you picking Maia too?
I'm going to go with Maia on this one. I do worry a little bit about how Niedzwiedz is going to be able to use her leg kicks and her range to sort of start picking things apart from the outside. But otherwise, I don't really think there's anything here that Maia hasn't seen before and hasn't been able to prepare for. You got to remember, she's taking kickboxing bouts between MMA fights. So, you know, she's only sharpening her tools and all these encounters. And yes, exactly. And that's the thing, man. I don't really count her out. I think her grappling is going to be a factor here. I think that Dio's right that there's going to be some cage clinching. There's going to be some, you know, attacking the legs with knees and stuff like that, trying to wear out Niedzwiedz. But yeah, I got to go with the veteran hand here yet again, because I just think that Maia is not just craftier. She's a much more dynamic athlete. She's durable. I don't see either one finishing the other, though. That's the thing, because they're both actually pretty durable. They can both take a lot of damage, but you know, they're both going to be dishing it out too. I think it's going to be a matter of whose cardio holds up best, and then who starts making mistakes from there on in. At that point, I got to say that Maia is going to be the one who's most likely to get that.
Yeah,
all right.
Maia she can keep that grinding pace for not just 3 solid rounds. We've seen her do that for 5 solid rounds before. So, like, that's something right there. And she is a very underrated athlete. Like I said, she is flown under the radar. Like, nobody really knows who Jennifer Maia is outside of the people that follow Invicta pretty religiously. But, like, you could take her right now, throw her into the UFC's current or newly found, you know, strawweight division, and she would wash a good portion of the people that are in there.
Well, she'd very likely beat most of the cast of their recent tough season.
Oh, most definitely. Like, she would, yeah, right up until you got up against the people, the Roxanne Modafferi's and so on and so forth, and she beat Roxanne Modafferi. So, you know, like, she is, for me, she's the uncrowned 125 queen or king, whichever one you want to go with.
So I put you guys both picking Maia, both picking Medeiros. Were you both picking Mirandin, or were you guys split on that? I forgot now.
I went with Mirandin.
So did I.
Okay, both picking Mirandin.
Both picking Porto.
Both picking Porto. Both
on
on Jandaroba versus Montenegro. Both picking Brown. Split on Rodriguez Ferreira, and who cares about the opening bout? So on that note, thanks everyone for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter at TheZaneSimon. You can find Damon on Twitter at I'm just Dio, DEO, all spelled out. You can find Vic on Twitter at Vic M Rodriguez. You can find all 3 of us over at Bloody Elbow in various ways, forms, things, whatever. Dio less so these days, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter looking at marble racing, which I'm going to go ahead and let you know that is the sport of the goddamn future. Okay? It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Okay, enough about marble racing. We'll be back next week with with all our normal shows that we do for UFC on Fox 26, Lawler versus RDA. And until then, thanks, everyone. You can give us a like on YouTube, thumbs up things, subscribe to our YouTube channel, MMANation.com. So you'll find all the latest Bloody Elbow shows, videos, news, all that stuff we do week in, week out. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in.